we're going to talk about something very interesting in the law, and that's the corporate veil. And I've mentioned this already in a video or two in the 99090 program, but now is the perfect time to talk about exactly what that is. The corporate veil is what protects the owners of a company from individual liability in the event of a company wrong. Okay, let me explain what that means, because that's a full semester of law school in one sentence. Basically, what that means is that the corporate veil protects the owner of the company in the event that the company is found guilty of doing something it shouldn't have. So if the company does something wrong, let's say, as an example, a dealer doesn't disclose something to a customer that it should have disclosed. That, because the dealership is a registered, let's say, limited liability company with that maintains proper corporate form, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and is, like I said, registered and has an operating agreement like I talked about in a previous video, that means that, generally speaking, the owner of the business or owners of the business will not also be liable. We'll get into litigation in my surprise section 10. I know I said 99090, but I got a surprise coming up for you. It's like a CD from the 90s where there's that hidden track at the end. Older dealers will know what I'm talking about. But the corporate structure, the way that works in the corporate veil specifically, is that the owner won't normally be held liable for the acts of the company. Now, there are exceptions. Like all laws, there are exceptions. One of the major ones is if the company is not maintaining what we call the corporate form. What that means is that the company is not separating company purchases from personal purchases. The owner is using the company and the company credit card as the owner's personal piggy bank, buying groceries, going on vacations, paying for their kids' tuition, all out of the company bank account. If the owner is doing that, the owner may not be protected by the corporate veil. That is the most common scenario where the corporate veil is what we call pierced. Another way is if the owner directs the company to commit a fraud. Okay, now that's going to take many videos to explain exactly what I mean by that, but suffice it to say that if the owner directs or instructs or conducts a fraud that is hidden by the company for the owner's benefit, the owner could be personally liable for that fraud, even though the company was the one that did the fraud. So that's the corporate veil. That is why it's really important to maintain corporate form, corporate structure, have the right corporate documents, and register the business when you're operating this kind of a business. There's a lot of risk. As most folks watching these videos know, there's a lot of risk in operating a business in the car space, especially a car dealership. It's super important, very important, to maintain the corporate form so that the corporate veil cannot be pierced.